Hey there guys, it's Luke here with Gramophone, and today we're going to be taking a look at an all-new product from Sony, the next in their Master Series flagship grade OLED TVs. This is the Sony A90J, and it is the highest performing OLED ever, and that has yet to have been made. This TV is like looking through a window. Now you guys have heard me say that before about other OLEDs as well. But with each successive generation and with every improvement that companies like Sony keep making, and especially with this one featuring an all-new OLED panel that's capable of getting brighter with better sub-pixel detail and a built-in heatsink so Sony can push it all the harder, this is the closest to that ideal of looking through a window yet, and it is awesome. So as you can imagine, I cannot wait to dive into the incredible details of this wonderful display. But before we do, guys, make sure you get subscribed to the Gramophone channel and click that bell notification icon down there so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming highlights, because many and more epic products are on the way. But now then, the Sony A90J and why this is truly the best. This, biggest one of all, is an OLED TV, or organic light emitting diode. The thing about OLED TVs versus virtually everything else on the market is that an OLED pixel, and there is 8.3 million of them in this TV because this is a 4K TV, an OLED pixel makes its own light. It doesn't require a backlight at all. And because of that fact, OLED TVs experience the best contrast that we have pretty much ever seen in almost any display technology up until this point. And it is that very reason why I often describe OLED TVs as like looking through a window, because there's none of that backlight haze or glow that points to the image being artificial. This is just about as natural as it gets. I mentioned that this is a 4K TV, or 3840 by 2160 in terms of pixel count. Multiply that for a total of 8.3 million pixels. In this world of 4K content where it abounds on streaming services and 4K Blu-rays, having a 4K TV like this to take full advantage of that is paramount to a great viewing experience. And when you get into TVs of this size, as this is the 83-inch model, the 4K becomes super useful and it looks phenomenal. This is also a 120 Hertz TV, meaning that the panel runs at a 120 frames per second, or at least that's what it can peak out at based on the content that you are watching. Now it's time to tell you guys about the secret sauce. So what is Sony doing on their OLEDs that separates them from the rest of the bunch? The short answer to that is processing. Sony arguably makes the best image processor in the world, and the latest generation of that has come to be inside of this TV. Now we have graduated to the Sony XR cognitive processor. Notice the cognitive suffix. That's because Sony has developed this processor, a complete rework, by the way, from the ground up. Brand new architecture, silicon, everything. What must be highlighted to make this appeal most to the viewer's eye? And it really works. Sony's built features into this processor, such as their XR 4K Super Resolution and their XR Upscaler. That allows you to take less than 4K content and blow up the image to fit on the screen and still actually look good in the process without coming off as faded or too pixelated. 1080p content being played back on a 4K TV, yeah, you can tell that it's 1080p, but on something like the Sony XR processor, the negative effect of that is mitigated about as much as anything could possibly be. And I've seen some 1080p content on this TV that still looks really good because of that processing. One feature of the XR processor that I personally think is really cool, and I want to see this technology appear in more TVs, is that this has built-in, or what we call TV-led Dolby Vision. For those who don't know, Dolby Vision is arguably the best format of HDR that's currently available, HDR being high dynamic range, expanded brightness and color information. What's cool about Dolby Vision is that Dolby takes any piece of content that they work and certify, and they break it down frame by frame for HDR, whereas most other formats are not so extensive. And because this is a TV-led Dolby Vision, it's the TV calling the shots to whatever the source device is to map, correct, and properly display what that image is going to be. Therefore, Dolby Vision content on the A90J, frankly, just beats everything else. You also have features like XR Smoothing and XR Tri-Lumis Pro, which is further color processing features which can be controlled in the intensity of how much you want them resampling an image's color through the TV's built-in settings. Most of these things you can set to do automatically, or you can dial it in for whatever your preference may be. You also get processing features like XR Contrast Pro, HDR Enhancer, and XR Motion. All of these coming together to give you varying degrees of processing, most of which you can control to dial in for the exact viewing experience that you're looking for. Sony also has partnered with Netflix to deliver us a Netflix calibrated mode, which is a color profile optimized for content that is streaming on Netflix. Therefore, you can watch virtually everything that is on Netflix, especially original series which have been mastered in this way, precisely as they were made to be seen. And finally, we do have to talk about audio. Even though this is a TV, Sony has a very nice trick up their sleeve. Sony OLEDs feature a technology called Acoustic Surface Pro, in which you have two speaker actuators mounted behind the glass of the TV that actually vibrates the glass. In my honest opinion, TV speakers have always been terrible, but I'm an audio snob. However, objectively speaking, they have been really, really bad for a few years now. But the Sony, it's actually pretty good. Even I give it a pass. However, this is Gramophone, so of course I am going to make audio recommendations. If you're going to buy a flagship level viewing experience, you owe it to yourself to also have a flagship level listening experience to go with it. And case in point, behold the beautiful Sonos Faber Sonetto Center 2 that we have mounted underneath this TV. This whole combination that you can see in the frame here, this is one of the best systems on display. And finally, to sum up these thoughts on audio, when putting an audio signal through the TV, whether you're using it for pass-through, whether you're using the built-in TV speakers, the TV can handle just about everything nowadays. Dolby Atmos, DTS, any modern format, it's good for it. This TV features Google's new TV OS rather than the previous Android TV, and it's a much upgraded experience. It looks kind of similar, so if you know the Android TV, you'll easily transition into this, but it just works so much better. The interface is cleaner, it operates smoother, it's just an all-around improvement. So well done Google, well done Sony for taking an already decent system and making it a great one. As far as inputs go, you get 4 HDMI ports, 2 of which are HDMI 2.1. Gamers rejoice, a VRR software update is coming down the road. Sony, please, faster, faster, faster. But I'm glad that it's coming, because something like PlayStation 5 is undoubtedly going to look absurd on this TV, and I mean that in a good way. On that note though of having the Google OS, that does come with Chromecast, because obviously, and it also features Apple AirPlay 2. This has a built-in Ethernet jack for internet connectivity, as well as a very strong Wi-Fi antenna, and both work exceptionally well, but of course I'm always going to recommend hardwiring if you can do it, for obvious reasons. You even get some old-fashioned composite video inputs for any legacy gear you have laying around, as well as an RF input for old-fashioned cable. You've got 2 built-in USB ports which you can plug USB thumb drives in and play back media content from, be it music or video files, which has always been a really convenient feature about Sony TVs. And on top of that, one of the extra spiffs about Sony, and this is kind of a cool little quirk, you have a headphone jack built into this for wired headphones. They're 3.5mm. So if that's what you want to do, you can. And finally, about that HDMI again, this does have eARC built in, our enhanced audio return channel, so you can pass 8 channels of multi-channel content back down the stream to a receiver or a preamp, what have you, if using streaming apps in the TV, or if you have something directly wired to the TV. This tends to be the preferred method for gaming or other high refresh content where input lag is a big deal. Wiring directly into the TV, letting the ARC handle the audio, and getting the fastest response possible that way. eARC is a godsend, and thank you Sony for incorporating it pretty well into this TV. This TV, just by looking at it even powered off, is still a lovely thing to behold, as it is basically a floating sheet of glass with next to no bezels on the edge, and what little itty bitty bezel it does have is a very nice dark brushed aluminum look. Even the Sony logo is very restrained and hidden away in the corner, as they just want the screen itself to be the spectacle here and to be understated in every other regard. That is my favorite aspect of this TV. All screen, almost nothing else, but whatever does have to be there, just for obvious build reasons, is still handsome, but subtle, restrained, and clean. The TV does include a high quality stand, so you can put this on, let's say, an AV cabinet like I have right here, in particular this BDI corridor. Lovely piece, by the way. However, being a floating sheet of glass style TV like OLEDs are, I cannot recommend enough that you wall mount this TV. And if that's something you need help with, we here at Gramophone would love to service you and give you a professional wall mounting and installation with the purchase of your Sony TV, and with a wonderful audio system to go with it, 0 to 100 installed and serviced by us, and yes, we will make sure you know how to use it. But Luke, what sizes does it come in? 55, 65, and here's the special one. You're expecting me to say 77, but now, starting in this generation, we have an 83-inch TV at the top of the scale. And it is so good to finally have an obtainable OLED above 80 inches, because it is just breathtaking. Seeing this mounted on the wall, it looks awesome. Having something that looks like a window into another world, you know, that OLED effect, it's like a dream. Watching almost anything on this TV, especially if it really is that high quality content, is just so rewarding. And it is almost just like being transported there. Starting at $27.99 for the 55-inch, or $79.99 for the incredible 83-inch, the Sony A90J Master Series OLED could not be more aptly named, as it is nothing short of a masterpiece. And if you guys would like to hang this window into another world on the wall in your home, head on over to skybygramophone.com, where you can check out securely and have one of these beautiful displays shipped fast and free straight to your door. Also, please give us a call and feel free to stop by one of our showrooms so that you can see this with your own eyes, because it goes without saying, you are not seeing what this TV can do watching through a YouTube video. I'm just here to convince you to come look at it for yourself, because it is an experience. So come pay us a visit at either our Timonium, Columbia, and Gaithersburg showrooms, all of which have some variant of the A90J OLED on display. You will not regret it. You are guaranteed to have fun. And of course, don't forget to also swing by our beautiful Kitchen Design Center in Hunt Valley. We're on social media too. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Houzz, and Twitter, as well as a handful of others. The links will be down below. If you guys need help coming up with project ideas, if you need to schedule a service request, or you want to speak to one of our hi-fi, home theater, and interior design experts, get inspired at gramophone.com. Also, ask at gramophone.com if you have any questions for me about anything that I've covered here on the channel. If there was something you wanted to know that I didn't talk about, please shoot me an email. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, because I know I did, especially when I get to work with products of this caliber, please give us a thumbs up and like this video. Drop a comment down below, tell me what you think, and subscribe to the Gramophone channel for all of your audio and home theater needs. But of course, I want to hear even more from you guys. Tell me what you guys specifically think of the A90J, and I want you to tell me what your dream TV is in the comments down below. That's the question of the day. And also, I want to hear about what you would love to see us review in the future. So as always, thank you for watching. Be seeing you.